an entrepreneur, podcast host, and musician, best known as one half of the group Run the Jewels, Killer Mike. I know, it's just like... And she's an ABC News contributor and former DNC chair, Donna Brazile. Trump threatened to pull ABC's license this week.
I know. What the hell?
See, this is what I'm talking about with Mel, about like the things that bother me versus the things that don't. That bothers me. You see, the ballroom, I give a fuck. I don't care about the ballroom. I care about that.
You're hearing exactly why these moments matter more than a palace drama. Forget the ballroom stories, the personality feuds for a second. This is a sitting president, a Congress, a military leadership, all floating the idea of when soldiers should or shouldn't follow orders. That's the core nervous system of a country. Once you start blurring that lines between lawful order and just do what I say, you are not debating left versus right anymore. You are debating how fragile the system actually is.
You just, I mean, like, it's just, and also, like, did you see the thing about the 6 Democrats who are all military service and intelligence work in their background said, look, you don't have to follow orders. I don't know about that. Now, I understand what they mean, because this thing with Venezuela is not legal. But what do you think about telling people in the armed services you don't have to follow orders? Now, Trump, of course, went ballistic and said, George Washington would have hung them. Sedition, death. You know, he goes right to that, and then today he walked it back. I didn't mean death. You said death.
Yeah. And meanwhile, those lawmakers have to reach out to the U.S. Capitol Police, the House Sergeant at Arms, because they're getting death threats, because they're afraid. And look, Senator Mark Kelly...
Who's getting death threats?
Those members.
Oh, those members,
Alyssa Slotkin, Mark Kelly, who's married to Gabby Gifford. I mean, to get death threats, he understands that. So it was wrong for Donald Trump to say that online.
Of course.
Now, here's the point. The military, there's a military rule that says you must follow legal, lawful orders. It's already in their military contract. They know what they take.
But who's to say what that is?
Yeah.
Aren't the courts looking at that right now? And now you're going to say to 21-year-olds on the USS Enterprise, you have to decide?
Because there's an effort underway to politicize our military. I understand what
and
the
government.
And weaponizing
and the
it.
Justice Department.
Yeah. And their point was, don't give up the ship. You've taken an oath. Don't give up the ship.
It's once you say to the military, you get to decide, as opposed to yes sir, no sir, follow orders. It's a dangerous area.
Bill is right to call that a dangerous area, because this is the part that nobody wants to think through. On paper, only follow lawful orders sounds simple. In real life, it means some 21-year-old on a ship or a base is suddenly the last filter between the Constitution and whatever a politician just told them to do. If they follow everything blindly, the system can be abused. If they start freelancing what's lawful with no education or civic foundation, the system collapses a different way. That's why civics, history, basic constitutional literacy actually matters, not for a test, but for the exact moment that we're talking about right here.
What about what we say in 9th grade civics class, though, about the Bill of Rights and the United States Constitution? That goes back to undereducating Americans, period. I think that there's a goal in public schools to make sure Americans are dumb. And I don't just mean Americans that look like me. To make sure the average working class American is dumb. The average soldier...
You think that's a conspiracy?
Yeah, I do. Because I think that the average working...
Well, again, that's the Democrats' portfolio is education.
Yeah, I don't give a shit which side of the fence you're on.
Okay, great.
It hasn't been good for America. I happen to believe in this republic. I think that as young as we are in 250 years, we stand the greatest chance of being one of the greatest republics ever to have been formed on Earth. But we are giving up too much. And part of what you give up is the adherence to the United States Constitution and the understanding that that Constitution can transform. It can be amended. It can be grow. I personally think the 13th Amendment needs to be re-amended so that we don't have an excuse for slavery, period. That ends the need for private and state prisons in the same way, reduces the prison population from what used to be 500,000 over 2 million now. But I think that soldiers do have a responsibility to adhere to the Constitution. I think if you're sent in on orders to disrupt a First Amendment constitutionally protected thing, I think as a soldier you should say absolutely not. I'm not going to do it. because we're just picking sides right now, and George Carlin said years ago, you know, it's a club and you ain't in it. What we're doing is picking members of the club who are going to fly on a jet together afterwards, whether they're Democrat or Republican. They're buddy-buddy. They went to Harvard, they went to Yale, they went to Morehouse, they went to Howard together. They're still going to be friends after. The bourgeoisie and up, that class is going to be okay. But we, the working class, the people got to wear shit like this to work every day, we're going to get fucked over in this. And people who wear shit like this every day usually do this and say yes, sir, and no, sir. So for me, I would rather our soldiers be strictly adherent to the United States Constitution and not follow any order that's unconstitutional.
Again, you're asking, I mean, the military is just different. I'm sorry. You're asking kids who probably don't know anything about the Constitution to make that decision.
Well, we got to fix that too, Bill. Like
I know, but we haven't fixed it. But right now we have it.
We need to bring back fucking Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday. It's like we got to do something, brother. We can't just have an ignorant proletariat.
I know, but like you'd be okay if they did that with Obama because he blew up some.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
He blew up some wedding parties.
I was going to hold, so I wasn't going to talk about this, right?
Oh,
we killed Gaddafi. We knocked him off the motherfucking face of the earth,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Right? You're like, absolutely. But as a black person, I saw slavery return to Libya.
This is where it gets uncomfortable because Killer Mike is pointing at the gap between the story we tell ourselves and the outcomes people actually live with. We wrap our actions in words like democracy, freedom, strategic interest, but on the ground, regular people end up paying the price for choices made by a tiny club of leaders and donors who never miss a meal. You don't have to agree with his full read on Gaddafi, but to see the bigger point, if we keep asking soldiers to risk everything while the same small circle benefits, eventually people start questioning who the system is really built to serve, the republic or the club.
I saw a man who was willing to help black people in their plight and their struggle by giving billions, ignored. I saw someone who wanted to unite Africa under one currency and have a potentially United States of Africa, and I know how dangerous that is to Europe and the United States. I saw that crushed, and as an American, I had to shut the fuck up, go with the Republic, but that's something if I ever had a chance to talk to Obama, I'd really say,
so you see Gaddafi good guy?
I see Gaddafi has been not as bad as they said. But I can't see any president I have as a good guy. I love Obama. The symbol of Obama is up in my motherfucking house. He's a black man. He became president, and he did more drone bombings than any other U.S. president before him. He and Hillary Clinton disturbed a country called Libya in which you used to have a free house, free education, free, and now it's not free anymore. And there are people who look like me that aren't free. So as much as I love my republic,
you know, it was a very repressive dictatorship.
I hear what you're saying. We're living under one now. We ain't storming the fucking White House.
It was not. You know what?
There's ICE walking down American neighborhoods.
Okay, if you think that's the same as Libya,
I didn't say the same.
Gaddafi,
I said it's repressive.
But let's have some perspective.
All right, we'll leave it right there. If you'd enjoyed these deep dives without the noise, hit that like, drop a comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.